Hey guys, give me a sec, please. Hold on, I'm gonna give you the phone. There we go. Hold on one second. Make sure the mic's working. Hello. Yep. You would think, you think I'd get it together. Things are moving. Thanks, Bergie. Good morning, Spurgy. Good morning from Miami. All right. So ES, the big levels obviously are going to be, we had this talk. Everybody was giddy. Everything was going to be great right here. And then you can just see from right there, there's literally nothing to do. You do the undercut and then you just start to lift. And that was pretty much it. Like right after that, you turned and you just started ripping. And then the news hits. And then there's literally nothing for you to do. But stay with that news and go from there. And you can just see how that worked out absolutely 100% perfectly for those that would buy the NASDAQ and the ES. What do I think now? I think you got to watch some of these levels like a hawk. I certainly think you have to watch that open. I don't know how this is going to go today. A lot of people seem to think that you're just going to explode to the upside. I don't know that I personally agree with that. I think that how you need to, I think how you want to focus on that is, you want to watch those levels pretty closely. To me, I do. I would also just throw this out there. I mean, you don't have to use, this kind of stuff if you don't want, and you could make the argument like, oh no, it's really not, it's already that divergence is there, but yeah, that's pretty bad. So, and I get that this is already slated, but you might really want to watch that here. So to me, I think you should be on the other side of this personally, but what do I know? I think that there's a fade out there for sure. I do. I think there's a big fade out there. So I'd be careful today. And I don't know that the fade lasts, but I think there's a fade out there. I really do. 300 in the room. If I could have everyone just hit the like button, that'd be great. That should be great. If you could do that for me. Yay. Again, I don't have that. What's with the ums lately? I listened to something I recorded. I record myself live trading. Like I can't say that anymore, right? You can't use those words anymore because it's PC. But like too many ums and too many pronouns like this and that. Like I can see why people that listen to me when I live trade, why they were annoyed. I played it back this week. I'm like, oh God, that's annoying. There it is again. But anyway, it's not negative. It's just way, way more severe. So I'd watch that. I'd watch that like a hawk. That would bother me a lot. If I traded futures and I was long futures right now, that would really bother me. That would be something that I would find vexing. Do the kids still say vexing? If not, they should probably should start saying vexing. Where did I put those charts? Because I don't think I put them in the right space. No, I stuck them in feedback. That's fantastic. Maybe I should take a class on how to use the internet. Those out of the feedback room. If you're trying to get into the community, it's waitlisted. And it's probably not going to be open for at least another 2 weeks. There's too much for us to do in there for me to be taking, because I talk to everybody that enters or joins. I give them the opportunity to. So there it is again. I'd just be careful. I do think certain names have the potential to go. I do want to take questions, but there's a lot to go over. Yeah, I think you have to look at who benefits the most from this before we get into individual names. And I do want to cover this, especially for people that are going to watch this later, because there's a bunch of people that watch these live streams later. So if I could just say this, who benefits the most from China opening up their markets to the US? Who would benefit the most from that? It's Tesla and it's Amazon. They would benefit the most. And if you look at those names pre-market, they're the ones that are hitting highs still. They're pre-market highs. Versus Meta that's trying. Or even something like an Apple that's already rolling over. That's how I would view it. So that's where my head is with it right now. Okay. That's how I view it. I think they're the two big names. But I'm more than happy to go through all this. The auctions today are going to be probably weak as people buy stocks. Lyft is super interesting. I know what Net looks like. I don't know what Frog looks like. Lyft is super interesting, but I was looking at this chart last night, John. I'll get into it with you in a sec. No. This was my concern about Lyft, because this is a buyback. I don't know how many times they've done a buyback before. They're trying to make a big deal about this. And when I looked at how this goes, here's earnings and it pops. Here's earnings and it pops. Here's earnings and it pops. So then I'm like, okay, well, let's take a look at the weekly and see if I can learn anything. You know how I am. Let's get some learning. So what do we see? Earnings and it pops. Earnings meltdown, goes sideways. Earnings pops and then womp, 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 womp. Like, why am I doing this trade besides the fact that I want agita in my life? You know, like there's no reason for me to do this. So I think you would look at it if I could get through some of this stuff. I do see some stuff that I like. I don't know that I need to be there now. Maybe if I could break like the DTL of the RSI, maybe. But do I really need to be that guy? I don't think I do. I think there it is again. I think there's much better names out there that are like completely, utterly beaten down that are going to start doing very, very well. This seems to me like something that people are just not thinking about at all. So. Let's get out of the ADD. Pod? I don't even know what they do, bro. I love charts like this stuff because your life's so easy. Anything that gives you like a clean demarcation line like that, like it's just so simple. It either holds or it doesn't, and if it breaks, then it breaks. What you really want with trades like this is you want an inside day or another bar to like tell you what's going to happen. And then you want another bar like that. Okay. That's what you want. That pattern. Something like that. Those 3-bar patterns off those breaks are huge. Huge. Yeah, please hit the like button. Thank you to everybody that shares Saturday's videos. It's really fascinating. My goal, I'll tell you where I'm trying to go with it. I was thinking about it. Like once that channel gets up to like 100,000 subscribers, we're going to start having people that are actual traders, like real traders, not like the fake traders. I'm going to start doing interviews like podcasts. I get asked to be on podcasts all the time. I always say no. And I do it on purpose. They don't ask the right questions. 2, they're always trying to hawk something. I just want to have real traders on here, but in order to do it, I'm going to have to get that to a level that would appeal to them. But I want to have actual traders on here and investors. I think it'd be super helpful. Yeah, the China deal's huge because the China deal's huge, John, because it means earnings were great and everyone that was worried about tariffs is just made a huge mistake. Huge. And they don't nobody knew, but it's a mistake because look what just happened. They're gone. And people say they're not gone. It's going to be back in 90 days, bro. It's over. It's over. You got to let it go. Sometimes you just got to say, Jesus, take the wheel. You got to take the wheel. Got to take the L on that one. So this is super interesting to me. Does United Healthcare get a percentage of what a pharmaceutical drug sells for? It's not my wheelhouse. So I don't have an answer to that. What I noticed is that these names are going to be weak anyway. Why? Because people are going to sell the XLP space today. They're going to sell the Coca-Colas. They're going to sell the McDonald's. They're going to sell these names. Okay. And that's how you have to look at it. They're just going to sell these names. I have no interest in buying healthcare. I have no interest in buying pharma. I don't have any interest at all. I just watched a multi-decade level on Pfizer become resistance, man. Like, I have no interest in buying anything in this space. I think these companies are in huge, huge, huge issues. Um, I thought 25 for sure was going to hold here. So multi-decade level. And we went through it like a hot knife through butter. The kids don't say that. They need to bring it back. I'm bringing it back. I'm bringing it back right now. But you got to watch that right here. Like, that's where you're going on some of this stuff. The idea of buying pharma companies as they're going after pharma, like, I don't know. I could think of worse things to do. Like, I could just stab myself with a spoon over and over again. Like, that just sounds exhausting. It even concerns what they did. So I have a position in HIMSS, and I'm just going to be blunt. Like, I'm concerned now because they sell pharma and they sell generic. Am I going to need generic here? Am I going to need generic now? So I'm a little like trying to figure that one out on it. I really am. So I'm a little trying to figure out what to do there. And it's a little concerning to me. I'm up. I'm doing decent with it. I think it's going to be a monster company. I really do. But when you start playing with that, like, what's the moat, right? The moat is going to be convenience and distribution. Okay. They're following the Amazon model. So, like, what was the moat with that when Amazon started? Right? They sold books. Everybody sold books. You had companies called Books A Million. You guys don't even know. Back in the day. But the larger issue with it for me is, what's the moat? Do they have enough of a moat around them now that it's not going to affect them? And I think it's going to affect them. That's my thought on this. I think it's going to. And that's a concern of mine as a shareholder. So I wanted to voice my concern there. 400 in the room. If everyone just go, woo, woo. What? So I'm not going near that. I'm not going near SRPT. I'm not going near any of those. I think you have to look at this and go, who really benefits from this and who's going to get hurt by that? And I don't know enough. We've got guys in the room that own healthcare companies or in that space. And I don't know, man. I don't know enough. And, I don't know with like RFK and all that stuff. Like, okay, now it's going higher. This thing's going to give me more gray hair. What's that? Okay. So that's a $3 move in a moment. Get ready. Get your coffee ready. Get your big boy pants today. So I do think there's something here with this Sizzle, and I do think it's worth paying attention to. I think you have to just size accordingly. I really like names that do this. I need retests of the close. I don't chase anything. Like, I just don't. I'd rather miss it because I'm just going to get in at the wrong price and everything else. So we'll see. More from Chicago. You near Napersville? You don't have to give me your exact address, Alan, but I'm just curious if you're near Napersville. It's beautiful out there, by the way. Yeah, I would be looking at this and saying to myself, what do I want to sell to the hoople heads? And that's what I've been doing all morning. Like, I'm not buying things. I'm holding a lot. You're in the room. Like, we've been buying since April 9th. Like, why am I buying today? It boils down to that concept on reflexivity, and I'm going to cut that out and go through that and make like a 5-minute video on it so people can refer to that concept a lot. But that's a big concept for me. I may actually do. I was listening to this. If anyone listens to the Founders podcast, you should listen to that podcast. I was thinking of doing that with books and traders. I think it might be a good idea. Someone said I should take the Saturday videos and put them on Spotify and Apple, like as a podcast for people because they're on their treadmills listening. But I got to get away from the pronouns, the this and that. Or they're going to be like this guy with his this and that and his internets. I like Zim a lot. I can't think of a company that benefits more. The only company that comes to mind that benefits more than Amazon is Tesla. IGV is definitely leading, Stan. There's no question. The SOX is not leading. IGV is leading. NVIDIA is NVIDIA. That's a big move, man, on NVIDIA. But IGV is definitely leading. I own Zim. I can't think of a company that I want to own more right here than Zim, besides the other ones I'm already in. But like, this thing's gone. And now they get to renegotiate all their contracts. Like, if you really understand Zim and how they benefit from this with their short-term contracts, they're going to just kill it, man. They're going to just absolutely kill it. I've been sleeping so weird lately. I got to change the way I'm sleeping. Neck cramps. Good morning from New York City. I'm going to be up there, I think, in like a month or two. I was going to go this weekend, but maybe a month after Memorial Day or two. What are your thoughts on ZIM and Amazon? I like ZIM a lot here. I own ZIM. I don't sell, but I don't plan on selling it, like ever. Amazon, I think, benefits greatly. Yep, 100%. What's going on, Albino? Yeah, we'll hit high. We'll be at highs by October, November, I think. What's up, Daniel? I think you have to be super careful here with a lot of this stuff and understanding the nuances. Like, the people that were buying Spotify could have been buying Spotify because of the Swedish, it's a krona. Is that what Sweden is? So now all of a sudden the dollar is going higher. So the conversion ratio of the krona back into those, you don't need them anymore. The other thing it could be is everybody wanted to own the subscription model names. Yeah, now I don't need to own the subscription model names because now I can own everything, right? So my narrow area, I don't have to worry about as much anymore. And I think that's super important for us to understand. And go from there. So and I do think that there is some stuff there. But if you think about it, like, oh, I had to buy these names because they were non-tariff related. Well, now I don't have to buy those names. So what are you going to sell? I'm going to sell these names, and I'm going to buy the names that were tariff related because they haven't risen yet. That makes sense. I think Spotify could have a problem because of not just that, but the dollar rising and where they're based. Good morning from Houston. Good morning from Miami. Yeah, 100%. You nailed it, Daniel. 100%. Volume muted. You can hear me now. Good. Bond market, they're going to sell bonds. They're going to sell defense, and they're going to put money to work, which means names like PM and MO and BTI, which I own long-term, are just going to get smoked. I have them in an income account. But they'll get smoked. I don't care. I want the yield. They drop, I buy more, like over time, Steve. But yeah, anything like that is going to get smoked, brother. Like it just is. hedge funds and long short only accounts are like, they're so far behind the S&P this year. It's not even funny. They're just going to chase alpha. Like they just are. And you should be looking at growth names because that's all it's going to matter now. It doesn't have to be today. Like we were talking about this in the room earlier this morning. The time to buy all this stuff was like here. And now it's going to go, oh, everything's fixed. I'm going to buy now. Like, well, we're selling to you. Like, and I don't mean that in a mean way. I mean, like, that's what institutions are going to do. They're going to sell here. They're going to let this stuff come back down. They're going to let the dust settle. They're going to wait for something else stupid to happen in the next 24, 48, 72 hours. Spoiler alert, if you haven't watched this movie, something stupid's going to happen in the next 24, 48, 72 hours because it always does. And then they're going to look at buying. That's how I see it. Yeah, that's something. I like free markets. I don't know how I feel about that. I do think there's something with why do U.S. citizens have to go to Canada to buy drugs? Like, I never really cared about that to one of my dad's friends. Like, this was years ago, back in the day. Like, they would get on the bus. Like really? Like, it wasn't like a little bit of money, man. It was like thousands of dollars. It's kind of crazy. So I don't want to go near the space. I am concerned about that from a HIMSS perspective. It's like, well, why do I need? And maybe they benefit somehow, and I don't understand it. Which maybe they do. Maybe they're going to start selling more prescription stuff because of that. They're not going to sell just the generics, right? Maybe they're going to sell more prescriptions, and because they're going to sell the prescription versus the generic, maybe they're going to make more money. I don't know yet, but there could be something to that because I would have expected this to come in harder, but I don't know. There's something here that there's definitely something here that's going to, happen. And you guys are like, geez, thanks. You're welcome. But something here is going to happen with maybe they're going to start selling proprietary more because they're lowering the price. And then if they lower the price, more people are going to buy proprietary, and there's more gross margins in proprietary than there are in generic. I don't know. There's something there. We're bonding like a mofo this morning. Yeah, it's like I try, Greg. I try to be nice, but like it's like this kind of stuff where I see it. It's like I don't know, man. I've just been doing this so long. I just rather tell the truth. Like everyone's like death cross. Ooh, I'm like, okay, well, no, it's over the death cross. It's over the death cross, just like it, and here I'll show it here. It's over the death cross, and now everybody's short, right? And you shorted here, and now it's over, and you got killed. It's the same thing with Bitcoin. It's the same thing when people were like, and people don't understand why Bitcoin's dropping. And it's the same thing with like people not understanding you're about to hit a golden cross, but who am I? Golden crosses are actually stronger than a death cross, by the way. I do pay attention to golden crosses, but I don't feel the need that I have to get in right away. Like it's some super special bat signal. But it's also like the crap of this, like, oh, I got to wait for, the 5 to flip, like, and then it's got to be pointing up. I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to buy down here and you tell me when it flips. Like, you got to look at this stuff. See, moving averages are awesome, Greg, in trading and like in trending environments. It's a lagging indicator. So if you're in a trending market, right? Okay. So like if you're in a trending market and you pull back to an indicator that is lagging in a trending market, it has value. If you're in a non-trending market, there is no value. That's when you have to go to oscillators and momentum indicators like this and go, oh, look, a negative divergence. That's probably near a high. MACD would have shown you something similar. So it's stochastics. You don't have to use RSI, even though that's the cat's pajamas. But do I want to get out because of that? No. But what I want to do now is say, oh, I'm in a trending market. Well, when should I buy more Bitcoin? Well, when it gets back down to, 99 or something like that, right? So hopefully that makes sense. I think it makes sense. Yeah, big pharma's got some issues. Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think you're in a blow off top. I don't think anywhere near a blow off top, bro. I watched Saturday's video and I would watch Saturday's video and what I walk through in that video with are you in a bull market and see where you're at and then rank where you think you're at. Jesus, I'm telling you, sometimes it's like it's too much. Yep, you remember Books a Million? I like Boeing. I don't know that you need to do it now, man. Like, I don't know. I will say this, out of all the sectors that are setting up, this is setting up perfectly. Like, everyone and their sister is going to be drawing this weekend. Like all like the, all the Helenes of the world, they'll all have this out there this week. They'll all show it this week. That you're sitting there, and they'll all show the breakout this week. All of them, because it's going to be perfect. And they're right. That's why they're going to show it. But that's XLI, and that's because the dollar's going higher. So the John Deeres of the world, right? The Caterpillars of the world, the Ingersoll Rands of the world, like they're all going to rip. All those names are going to rip because they benefit greatly from a stronger dollar. And now the tariffs, they don't have to worry about the tariffs. So you're selling a $100,000 piece of equipment, and then all of a sudden, that $100,000 piece of equipment is got $125,000 in taxes on it. It's a big deal if you're a farmer. Like it's a huge deal. So yeah, very big. I think it's very big for Boeing too. It also means Boeing's going to get more orders from China, and India just bought all those planes. So yeah, I think it's great for them. That might be the one space that's not overreacted yet is industrials. What's up with APP? I don't know that it's a fraud. I know that some guy made a video about it, but I don't know. I don't know anything about it, man. Is it? I thought they had good earnings, but maybe it is. I don't know. The first report that I saw that came out on this was a joke. It was an absolute freaking joke. The last one that came out, I don't know if it was Kurzweil or somebody else. The Fuzzy Panda report was a freaking joke. But there was some guy, I forget which firm it was. It wasn't Hindenburg. It was somebody else that put a report together from a short perspective, and it was excellent. It was like really well done. I don't remember who it was. But I would watch that very, very closely. It was very well done. But the impetus has got to be that Meta's got to get involved. I don't know that Meta's going to get involved. I don't know that they care. What's up, Steven? What's going on, brother? Steven, did you change the name up a little bit? Yeah, like those kinds of names, I think they could have some issues here. So I don't get why these names would be going up on the tariff stuff. Man, my eyes are just so screwed right now. Yeah, I know. It's funny though. Death Cross. Ooh. Everybody's like, oh, and they all post it. Ooh, okay. I'm not going near this thing, man. Oh, is that who did it? That report was really well done. I just don't know that they have the impetus to do it. They need Meta to come along or a government agency to come along if it's valid and do something. And the government agencies are being cut to the bone. So, less is more right now to them. But is Meta going to reduce their revenue because of this? I don't know if it's even legit, right? Really? So, yeah, I've got a guy that puts them all together for me. I've been using them forever. But I don't know. I got to jump, guys. Trade to win today.